Hi there, this is Caleb Jones and this is the Sovereign CEO Podcast, setting up your own location-independent business, living a location-independent lifestyle, moving out of the collapsing Western world, or at least setting up your international backup plan and doing all these things for very little money. As you can probably tell, if you watch the video version of this podcast, I am in Paraguay in my Airbnb, and today what I'm going to talk about is the logistics, how I manage logistics when you have a secondary living flag, like Paraguay. So if you didn't already know, I live in Dubai, vast majority of the year. Paraguay is my secondary home. I spend a lot of time in Paraguay, at least twice a year, and the visits I spend are getting longer and longer. You know, I've been here for almost a month. Next year in 2024, I'm kind of mapping out the year next year, and I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I will probably spend 2 months here, if not 3 months here in Paraguay during the June, July, August season, because that's when it's very hot in Dubai, and that's when it's very nice and sunny and beautiful and cool in Paraguay. I haven't decided yet. I might spend a month in the UK and 2 months in Paraguay next summer. I haven't decided yet, but I'm working on it. And very likely next year will be the year I actually get a year-round apartment here in Paraguay. And so what I've done up until now, and I've talked a little bit about this, but I'm going to more specifics about this podcast, is that I use storage units. So if I don't want to have rent a year-round apartment in a place I'm going to visit a lot but not spend a lot of time in, the way you save money on that is you get a storage unit. And so I have storage units in countries all over the world. It's kind of nice. And that way I don't have to bring a bunch of crap with me every time I go. The stuff is all there. So for example, I'm sitting on an office chair right now that is in my storage unit here in Paraguay. I work a lot, so if I'm going to spend 3 weeks in Paraguay, I want to sit comfortably and be functional. I am looking right now at a large monitor that I leave here in Paraguay, so I don't have to bring a second monitor with me or figure out how to get a second monitor. It's here. So I have a bunch of things in Paraguay that I leave in the storage unit, and I have to keep a running inventory of these things. So what used to happen was, back when I really started hitting this hardcore, this international lifestyle hardcore, in around 2017, 2018, I would set up these storage units, and then let's say I had one in Paraguay, and I would say, okay, I'm gonna go to Paraguay now for 3 weeks. I went, wait a minute, okay, what do I have in my storage unit? What do I have to pack? What do I don't need to pack? And I had to think back 6 months ago to when I was in Paraguay. What did I put in the storage unit? Oh crap, I forgot. So I learned very quickly, I said, all right, I have to keep an inventory. It's a little work, but not too bad. An inventory of what I have in these storage units. And so in my primary flags, the ones I visit a lot, Mexico, Paraguay, Armenia, places like that, I keep adding to these inventories. And so my inventory in Paraguay is now quite large, and every visit I add to it, which means I need to bring less stuff with me to Paraguay. So let me tell you how I do this. I keep a Google Doc on my phone, and I call it Paraguay Inventory. And what I do is whenever I repack the stuff in the storage unit, I just add it to this list if it's not already on this list. If there's something on this list that is a consumable item, I will remove it off the list and know that I need to buy some new stuff here or bring it with me. Now, a few things actually. When you travel, you're not allowed to bring anything sharp unless you check bags. And even if you check bags, it's a little risky. So what I need to use is sharp knives, razor blade, fingernail clippers. They don't like those on planes. So things like that, you have to buy in your local, let's call it your living flag, your secondary living flag. You got to buy them there and leave them there. So I have, in part of my inventory here in Paraguay, I have fingernail clippers, I've got a sharp knife, I have things that are too big to pack, like a monitor, things like that. But what I have here is a list of stuff. I'll go through a few things. This is my list, and you can see it on the screen. It's quite a bit of stuff. And I'll rattle off a few things. 2 small containers of Q-tips, 2 cans of shaving cream, 10 razors, sunglasses, baseball hat, 4 pairs of socks, 5 pairs of underwear, moisturizer, 2 men's shower soap, shampoo, wet wipes, 2 keyboards, I'll talk about that in a second, toilet paper, paper towels, hand towels, trash bags, paper cups, 2 blankets. I will talk about that when I do my video, when I do a walkthrough of this apartment. Paper plates, nose strips, the things you wear to bed. Alex Mosey wears those, wear those to bed most nights. Ziploc bags, disposable towels, sponges, things like that. Now, a few things. First, you need to discover, in addition to tracking this, so that way, here's how this works. When I now leave Dubai and come here next year or later this year, whenever I come back here, all I have to do is go pull out my list and say, okay, I don't need to pack that. I have a checklist of everything I pack every time I pack. I talk about this in my course, Travel Ace. And so I have a checklist. So what I can do is I cross-reference my checklist with this, and now I don't need to pack a lot of stuff. Kind of neat. And so once I get an apartment here, I'll have it completely set up where I can literally just come here and literally have, there's my fantasy, which is also a goal, which is going to happen. I will be able to go, as long as I go from Paraguay to Dubai and back, I have no other trips. That's the catch in my plan. Discuss that in a second. I'm going to get to the point, probably next year, where all I need to bring with me is my laptop. And that's it. So I can hop on the plane, 14-hour flight, just have my laptop, no bag, no big backpack, no Tortuga, I use a Tortuga backpack, none of that stuff. Just my little laptop bag, strap it on, get on the plane, walk out the plane, walk in my apartment, I have everything there. It'll be a duplication of everything I have in my home in Dubai. Andrew Henderson has talked about this. Okay, kind of neat. You can't quite do that. Well, you could do that with a storage unit. You just have to be organized with this stuff. Make sense? Now, one thing you have to figure out is what is something you use on a regular basis that is not available in your backup country. So here's a weird thing, flossers, these things. Okay? And if you are listening to the podcast, the audio version, it's those flosser things with a little curved thing where you just stick it in your mouth, go up and down, instead of using a string. I hate strings, they take too long. I use flossers to floss. I floss every day. And so Paraguay does not have these. At least I haven't found them. I looked all over the place. They don't have these. So what I did on this trip, before I came here from the United States with my wife, I bought 4 or 5 big giant bags of flossers and I threw them in my backpack. And I brought them down here, and now they're in my inventory. I have maybe, 2 years of flossers now. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to worry about, okay, oh wait, I better bring flossers because I don't have those. Same thing with nose strips. Let's say I have 42 nose strips. So I have, month and a half of nose strips here if I use one a day. I might bring a little more. I don't know if they have nose strips here or not. They might. I have to check that out. Also, electronic equipment. So I like to use ergonomic keyboards, specifically Microsoft ergonomic keyboards. For you guys watching the video, this kind of thing. This is what I like, where the keyboard is cut in half and tilted at about a, what is that, about a 20-degree angle. Normal keyboards are not good for your hands or your wrists. They're not good for your wrists and they cause your shoulders to go up. It's just not a good idea. Ergonomic keyboards are much better. So the problem I ran into was I would have an ergonomic keyboard at home in Dubai, and then when I would spend weeks in one of my Plan B locations, my backup locations like Paraguay or Mexico, what have you, I would buy a normal keyboard because that's what's available in these countries. And so I wouldn't get used to where the keys are. Well, Caleb, the keys are in the same place in every keyboard. No, they're not. Just the letters and the numbers are in the same place. Things like the backspace key, the delete key, the home key, the end key, the insert key, the escape key, the tab key, these are all different places, slightly off on every different keyboard. So I'd be typing away, and I'd go to hit the backspace key or the end key, and it wasn't there. I'm like, oh, shit. I'd look at the keyboard, and so I have to retrain my brain to work with a new keyboard in Paraguay for 3 weeks. Then I'd fly back to Dubai, and guess what would happen? I'd be trained for the Paraguay keyboard, I'd be back on my ergonomic Dubai keyboard, and I would have to learn it all over again. Like, So finally what I did is I said, okay, I'm gonna buy the same keyboard and have copies of the same exact keyboard, same exact model in all of my locations. So I bought 2 of them in the United States. This one here is one of the latest Microsoft ergonomic keyboards. I don't know the name of it. So I bought one of these for Dubai, and now I have one of these for Paraguay. This one I'm holding up in the video right here. I'm gonna leave here in Paraguay. I'm gonna leave it here. So now, and then when I go to Mexico in August to renew my residency there, I'm gonna get a 1/3 of the same keyboard from the United States. I'll be in Scottsdale first, grab another one of those keyboards, Amazon it, just have it shipped to me, and take it down to Mexico. So I'm gonna have the same keyboard in all of my primary locations. So I don't have to retrain my brain every time I go somewhere. Awesome. So that's something else you gotta figure out. Now, well, why don't you just buy an ergonomic keyboard in Paraguay, Caleb? They don't have them here. And you may not be able to get Amazon to ship them here. It's Paraguay, right? Right. So you may have to throw this in your backpack. So that's another thing. You should determine what is available and what is not available in your home country. What I'm going to do later today, I have this on my agenda for the day, is I have made a separate list. So this is my inventory, and above this, I have another list on my phone. These are things that I want to have next summer when I come here, if I come here for 2 or 3 months, that I make sure I got to have And if they don't have them here, I'll have to bring them from Dubai. Like all my vitamins, vitamin C, D, chromium cholinate, zinc, omega-3. I've done a whole video at my Alpha Male 2.0 channel on what vitamins I take. I take a shitload of vitamins. Well, what I do now is, see if I have one of these here, I do. I take these little vitamin baggies. Okay, if you get these from Walgreens. If you're listening to the podcast, it's these little teeny tiny Ziploc bags, and you can put a day's worth of vitamins in there. And I'll just, if I'm gone for whatever, 3 weeks, I'll set up 3 weeks of each bag. So whatever, 21 days these bags, and I'll bring it with me. Now, if I'm going to stay somewhere for a month or 2 or 3, I'm not going to want to pack a gigantic monster bag of vitamins. It's not going to make sense. I'd rather buy the vitamins in that location and set them up there. However, again, Paraguay may not have all the vitamins I want. A lot of them they do, but not all of them. So what I'm actually going to do, so here's what I did. I made a list of things where I'm going to check today. I'm going to go to 2 different grocery stores, and I'm in the nicest part of Paraguay, so I go to the nice grocery stores. They have the most selection of stuff. And see if they have these things. So they probably have vitamin C and vitamin D. They might not have garlic pills. I like to take garlic pills. They might not have those. So I'll just put a little checkbox on that one and say, okay, when you come to Paraguay next time, bring a can of or a bottle of garlic pills, for example. Let's see, what else here? Leave-in conditioner. I have leave-in conditioner because some of my hair is fake. So I have to have leave-in, I spray leave-in conditioner. I don't know if they have that in Paraguay. They may not. So if they do, great. I'll just buy it here when I come next, no big deal. If they don't have it here, I'll know I need to bring it here from Dubai. But I need to know these things before I leave Paraguay. I can't be in Dubai and like call up my attorneys or my friends in Paraguay and say, can you check the store, see if they have these things? I want to know now before I leave. Make sense? So it's another thing you need to assess. If you may not know that you get that item in that other country. Now, if it's another first world country, you're probably okay. But ideally, you're moving out of the collapsing West, not moving from one collapsing Western country to another collapsing Western country. Unless you're moving to a first world, non-Western country. I live in Dubai. Dubai is a first world, non-Western country, so they have pretty much everything. So that's the next thing I'm doing is I'm going through that list and making sure that figuring out what I need to bring the next time I want to come here to Paraguay, if indeed I'm going to spend 2, 3, 4 months here. Make sense? So that's the second thing. What else do I want to talk about? Electronic equipment. So let's discuss that. So what I always do is I will never work on one monitor long term. If I'm traveling at an airport, that's fine. But if I'm rooted somewhere, I want to have at least 2 monitors. I want one big monitor, my laptop monitor. That's just more efficient. And so in all of my living flags, I will always have a monitor, a keyboard, and then the correct cables to hook that monitor up to my laptop. What I don't want to do is get to my storage unit in my foreign country, get my monitor, and then say, oh crap, I don't have a cable for this. And now you got to go look for a cable, and hopefully they have the cable. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So you want to make sure you have all the cables to plug that monitor into your laptop, and that also stays in the storage unit. So I leave Paraguay shortly the next few days. I'm going to take all this stuff, take it back to the storage unit, take the cables and a nice little wrapped thing, and so that'll be good to go. So next time when I come, I'll have all the logistics I need in terms of video stuff. Now, what I will eventually do, I am doing this video/podcast here on my webcam. If I don't figure out, I probably will by then figure out how to do all these things on my iPhone. I bought a nice new iPhone. The problem with the iPhone is I do have this in Dubai, but not in Paraguay. I have a little wire where I can connect a lav mic to my iPhone. If I do videos on my iPhone, I look good, but the sound is a little echoey because there's no microphone near my face. Assuming I don't figure out how to do that, actually, wait a second, I just realized, no, I'm still going to need a webcam for live webinars. So scratch what I'm about to say. Let me change what I'm about to say. What I will eventually do is the webcam that I use, I will have a duplicate of that same exact make and model also in all of my flags. Paraguay, Mexico, Armenia. I'm tempted to, I want to talk about more countries. There's some other countries I'm thinking about. But that way I'll have not just a monitor, but all of my equipment. All of my extraneous equipment, including this mouse. This is a Logitech Trackball M570. I recommend these. These are great. And I only use these. I do not use mice. These are way better than a mouse because you have to move your hand or your wrist. So I will pack this, but I need to get another one of these for Paraguay and Mexico and all the other flags. So that, again, literally, once again, my goal is to come to that country with just my laptop and nothing else. Here's another thing I have in my storage unit. a remote Bluetooth speaker for listening to stuff on my computer. So I listen to music or meditation stuff as I work, and I use this because laptop speakers are kind of shitty. So I have this in my storage unit. So all these different electronic logistics, you should make a list, a written list of all the stuff you need in addition to your laptop, and make sure those are there. Now, what are the flaws in this plan? Well, there's one big one, especially when you live my kind of international lifestyle. And I have not figured a way around this yet. So let's say I have everything I need in Paraguay, okay? So I can now have the ability to just throw on my laptop bag, that's it, no backpack, no clothes, no nothing, and just get on the plane, go right to Paraguay, walk out of the airport, and go to my apartment or my storage unit and have everything I need, including clothing and toiletries and bathroom stuff and everything, vitamins, everything, okay? Electronic stuff, everything, okay? Here's the problem. Let's say on the way back from Paraguay, I need to go up to Panama for a few days. Or let's say on the way to Paraguay, I need to go to Mexico for a few days. Or I need to go to the United States and visit, whoever I need to visit the United States or do a seminar or something in the United States. Oops, now I have to pack an entire thing of stuff. I don't have to pack much, but I do. I now have to put a bunch of shit in my backpack, bathroom stuff and clothing, and if I'm gonna be there a few days, because often I will, especially when I come from Dubai to North or South America, I will try to do all my North and South America stuff in the same trip, because otherwise I'm gonna hit jet lag. So once I'm in North America, I'd rather go to South America than back to Dubai. That makes sense? Especially if I need to come back anyway. So the flaw in my plan is you will have scenarios where if you're gonna go somewhere else besides that one location, crap, you gotta pack stuff again. So then so I pack a bunch of stuff, not a bunch of stuff, but some stuff. I fly to America or Panama or a place I'm visiting but I don't consider a hardcore flag, or the UK or what, it doesn't matter, okay? It can be anywhere, okay? Hong Kong doesn't matter, okay? And I go there and I spend a few days there, and then I go to Paraguay where I have all my stuff. Now I have duplicates of everything. I got 2 sets of toiletries and I'm like, shit. So it almost kind of defeats the purpose. So this works the best when you are living a more simplified Five Flags model, where you're just going back and forth between 2 locations instead of running around the maniac all over the world like myself. Now, as I've talked about, I'm not going to do that the rest of my life. By the time I'm 54, my travel schedule will be reduced. I was going through my schedule for next year, 2024, and I put a big thing on the top: try to minimize travel. These are the 2 objectives I have in terms of my travel for a year. When I'm planning out a year, 2024 specifically, the 2 objectives I had at the top of the page were: try to minimize travel. B, absolutely minimize the number of days in the United States. I've talked about in the videos why that is. Because of foreign earned income exclusion, I have to pay an additional $300 per day I spend in the United States in taxes. Great. So minimize the number of days I spend in the US and try to minimize travel. So I'm trying to do that anyway. So if your travel schedule is less complicated than mine, and the vast majority of you probably is, this is the model you can use. You have a set inventory that is written down on your phone that you double check every time you leave that location, so it's accurate. And then when you go back home, you only pack what you need to pack, and you won't pack very much, especially if you just go to that one location and come back. It's kind of neat. It's kind of awesome. So now one possible solution I've been rummaging around in my little brain as a solution to what I just talked about, maybe what I do is I have a little travel, in addition to having my inventory in Paraguay, I also have in the inventory in Paraguay a travel stash. It's a little backpack that has, 4 or 5 days worth of stuff in it. So bathroom stuff, clothing, just minimal for 4 or 5 days. That way I could come from Dubai to Paraguay on the long 14-hour flight, just on my laptop. Once I'm in Paraguay, if I need to go up to the United States or Panama or wherever, I can just grab that backpack and go, and then bring it back. That's a little better, saves me a little time. I have to bring the backpack back to Paraguay, wouldn't I? So it's not a perfect solution, but there you go. But this will save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle, especially if you have that type of lifestyle where you go back and forth between 2 locations or do a circuit between 3, and that's all you're really doing. That's how this works. So that's what I'm doing. And so far it's worked out really well. And I'm very excited to hopefully, that's in the plan, we'll see, get a year-round apartment here in Paraguay next year. I've been saying this for a few years now, but now that I've made some changes, I can actually spend that kind of time in Paraguay. And so now that things have calmed down with my Five Flag schedule and things like that. So I will be definitely talking about that when I do this next year, but I'm going to be following the same model. This model works whether or not you have an apartment there or just get a storage unit there, either one. And if you have a storage unit, as I've talked about many times before, what you do is you land in your secondary country. If it's late at night, you go to bed. If you land during the day, you just go right to the storage unit. What I do is I get an Uber, but I pay a little extra for the bigger Uber, so it's like an SUV instead of a little car. Get an SUV Uber, go to the storage unit, grab all the stuff, take it out, okay, bring it back, and then I stay for 3-4 weeks or whatever, and then I just bring it back. What I should be doing, I'm a bad little boy, what I should be doing is I should have an assistant here at Paraguay do all this for me. So I will set that up next time I come. So I will not have to personally do this. I'll have the assistant just get all that ready for me so I arrive at my Airbnb or my year-round apartment and all my stuff is there. The assistant has brought it all over, set it all up, or at least got it out of Uber. So that'll save me a whole day of transition, 2 days of transition times on these trips. Make sense? So that's it. Hope that's helpful. This stuff works. And it's kind of exciting to have different homes where you're getting year-round awesome weather. That's what I'll end with. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest United States where it's cloudy and rainy fucking all year long, including much of the summer. So it is a joy for me to have the ability now to have great weather year-round. Because the weather starts getting bad in one location, I go to another location where it's awesome. And it starts getting bad there, I go back to the original location where it's awesome. So I'm going to have awesome, next year in particular, but this year too and last year, I have year-round awesome weather. It's great. It's great for the attitude, emotional health, all that shit. Good to go. I'll see you in the next podcast. Have fun. Bye.